Hello friends, a warm welcome from Aussie's group. My name is Malcolm, I'm your PTE coach, and today I have with me Tanu from Clayton. How are you, Tanu?
I'm good, thank you, Malcolm. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thank you so much for being here today. And friends, first of all, this is our first live session for 2018, and we would like to wish you all a very happy new year. We sincerely wish from the bottom of our hearts that this new year, if you're looking for a high score in PTE, for your PR or for your TR or for your student visa, we sincerely wish that you get it as soon as possible.
Yeah, and especially if you think about PTE, you have to think about us, which is Aussies. You will definitely get your scores.
Definitely. And also I'd like to say that Gaurang, wherever you are, we are missing you today. We know that you're in India right now, and we are definitely missing you today as well. So, ma'am, which is the task we're going to take today?
We'll be taking up a task from speaking section of the exam.
All right.
So we have five
Yes.
question types in speaking.
That's right.
Which is read aloud, repeat sentence, describe image, retell lecture, and answer short questions.
That's
so we'll
right.
we'll be discussing about describe image today.
Right. And also, friends, I'd like to share with you a very good news that today is the 4th of January 2018, and in just the last 3 days, we have got 3 scores of perfect 90s, which is fantastic. And even today morning, we got 2 more scores of 90s. That is, in 4 days, 5 of our students have got 90, and 3 of those have got scores of 90 each.
Which is a great news.
Which is just fantastic, and I couldn't have been more happy, I couldn't have asked for more. So friends, if you're waiting for this year, if you were waiting for this year to get your PTE score, I think you should just start your preparation soon enough, and I think you can definitely come to us, to Aussies. We'll try our best to get your required score. Well, Tanu, there are many types of images that generally come in describe image.
Yeah.
So what would you like to say about that?
Before we go there,
Yes.
I would like to say that let's discuss first that what is the time frame and
Right.
how many questions do we actually get as a describe image, because I think a lot of students do struggle in describe image and
Right.
read a lecture, as they have to speak continuously
That's
for
right.
roughly about 40 seconds.
That's right.
So let's discuss about that first, and then we'll go to the
Correct.
type of
Types,
questions.
that's right. So for the first question, that roughly how many question numbers or how many number of questions come in the test? So generally it's 6 to 7 or 8 questions, but
Yeah.
sometimes you can get more questions, like around
That's
10
right,
questions,
yeah.
because when it comes to the number of questions, it's not exactly fixed how many questions we get. That's
That's
right. There's
right,
no other
yeah.
reason.
Every
But-
student, they
Yes.
always come up
With a different number,
Yeah,
yes.
so
But generally,
it's
yes, I
random,
think
yeah.
6 to 7 is
6
the number.
to 7 is the ideal number, yeah.
Yes, and also you said, what you said is perfectly correct, that many students and many test takers find this task along with retell lecture a bit difficult. So first I'd like to tell that why people find it a bit difficult, obviously. The main reason is that, as you correctly said, that people are not used to speaking continuously for 40 seconds.
Yeah, and especially they get conscious when it is, the exam.
True, because you're wearing a headphone, you know that you're being recorded, so yes, you're a bit jittery, and yes, you become conscious. That's
And a
true.
lot of students do think that, they have to speak, they have to get into the details of the image, they
Right.
have to be more focused on their fluency,
Yes.
pronunciation, content, so many
So
things
many
going.
things, yes, that's true. And yes, and I think one of the biggest challenges in describe image is mainly that ideas don't come that quickly, what to speak.
That's
And
true.
second major problem I think is that most of the people, or many people I've seen, struggle with sentence formation.
That's true.
Because if you don't speak fast, or if you don't speak fluently, rather I would say not fast but fluently,
Yeah.
then you are at the risk of losing some
Yeah, you
points.
tend to lose marks, of course.
Yes, and
yeah.
if you think a lot, you cannot speak fluently.
That's true.
So it's like a double-edged sword. You don't know which side you fall.
Yeah.
So yes, those are the two main problems with describing.
But I always tell my students that,
Yeah.
just when you get the image in front of you, you have few seconds, you
Yes.
get 25 seconds
That's right.
to prepare what to speak. So I generally tell them you should always have some lines handy, some lines in your mind. You should
Yes.
always be prepared with that,
Yes.
so that you can continue to talk about it.
Yes.
So it's not very tough. You should,
That's right.
if you have few sentences ready
Ready.
with you, you can always talk about it, and 40 seconds will just pass like
That's true. Before we proceed, I'd also like to share the instruction which you get on the screen when the question type comes. So it is something like this, that look at the image below. In 25 seconds, please speak in the microphone in detail and describe in detail what the image or graph is showing. You will have 40 seconds to give your response.
Yeah.
So the preparation time is 25 seconds, after which the recording timer starts, and that timer is of 40 seconds.
So I have got one question for you, Malcolm.
Yes.
Do you recommend a student should talk for 40 seconds? Lot of students ask me this question, that do we actually need to talk for 40 seconds?
That's a good question, and it's a valid question, but the instruction itself states that you will have 40 seconds to give your response. Nowhere does the instruction state that you have to speak for 40 seconds or you must speak for 40 seconds, which means that 40 seconds is the maximum length which we can speak for. And the question, like the next question which you asked, like should we speak for 40 seconds? So again, I believe that no, it is not necessary that you speak for the full length of 40 seconds. But yes, if you can speak fluently without doing all those things, then yes, if you can speak, why not? Speak for 40 full seconds.
That's right. And I would also like to say, as you all know, that if you don't speak for 3 seconds, the microphone will stop automatically.
Yes.
So rather than doing that, I would recommend you guys, if you cannot speak for a particular image for 40 seconds, you can always speak for 27 or 30 seconds and go on to the next question where you can be more fluent.
That's
so
right.
rather than saying something incorrectly, pausing, you should avoid that, and you should always try to speak fluently for as much length as you are comfortable with.
Yes, very rightly spoken, Tanu, because many times if you don't know what to speak, you can also still, just keep on saying and say something.
Yeah.
But as you correctly said, that better you speak on the content, stick to the content rather than just blabbering, things which are not relevant to the content, because that will obviously, or that can obviously affect your content score of speaking.
Yeah. And when I say content, what do you mean by content? Do you actually need to get into the details of the image, or you can just say, things what you see on the image?
Correct. Now again, very good question, Tanu. People don't realize in this task that the name of the task is describe image, not analyze the image.
That's true. That's what I tell them.
Yes. So if you make a mistake of, understanding a lot of the image, then obviously you can tend to get confused, and then again your mind would be diverted. So the ideal way is that see the image and just convert that image into words. So basically it's a picture. Don't think what is there, why it is there, what is the understanding of the image. Don't go into all that. Just convert the picture into words. For example, let's say it's a bar graph or a bar chart. So obviously you have the x-axis, you have the y-axis, you have a title, and you have maybe something below the x-axis and something next to the y-axis. So basically just start reading it out. Because obviously when you're reading, you're not thinking and you can speak fluently.
That's right. I always tell my students to keep this thing in mind. The first thing you should have in mind while doing this task is you need to identify the type of the image.
Yes, that's true.
So you have your first sentence ready. Second, you introduce the topic.
That's right.
You're ready with your third sentence,
Right.
second sentence.
Yes.
Third, you talk about x and y axis. You talk about the slices of pie chart, if it's a pie chart. You talk about stages if it's a flow chart.
Right.
So you have 3 sentences ready with you.
Right.
And the remaining, I think it is pretty much enough for 20 to 25 seconds.
Yes,
And you just have to speak for another 1 or 2 sentences, which I'm pretty sure you're good to go with.
Right. Coming to an earlier question which you asked, like which are the different types of images which come. So broadly speaking, there are I think around 6 to 7 maybe categories of images.
That's right.
And the most popular ones are what we call graphs or charts.
Yeah.
Yes, mainly graphs, yes, you're right. And even in graphs, there are 3 graphs or chart types which are extremely popular.
That's right.
First, what we call bar graphs or bar charts, which can also be called column graphs, horizontal or vertical.
Vertical, that's right.
Second, popular ones are line charts or line graphs. And the third popular ones are obviously pie charts.
That's right, yeah.
Second main category, also part of the first one, charts. And mainly there are 3 types of charts which are popular or famous or generally repeated in the test. Most popular are organization charts, which we call hierarchies.
Yeah.
Or which can also be called flow charts.
Flow charts, yeah.
Second popular charts are what we call timetables.
That's right.
And third popular, a broader category of tables, which is actually tables. That is a collection of vertical columns and horizontal rows. Third category mainly is that of diagrams.
That's right.
And in diagrams, again, there are 3 popular diagrams. First are what we call Venn diagrams,
Yeah.
when two circles overlap, and
yeah.
you have a central region, which is the overlapping region.
Yeah. Life cycle.
Yes, second are life cycle diagrams, as you correctly said. And third are similar to life cycle, but process diagrams.
That's right.
So you have like a process cycle or a circle with stages, 4 or 5 stages.
Yeah.
The next category is that of what we call maps.
That's
So
right.
maps or building
Generally,
plans.
students find very hard to describe the maps.
Yes,
Yeah.
because maps can sometimes be very, what you say, simplistic. So they look simple, but actually they are not that simple.
That's right. And you have less data to
Less
talk on.
data,
Yeah.
and sometimes you have a lot of data, so it can go
That's
both
right.
ways again. So it's, yes, it could be a bit tricky at times. Yes, that's right. And we can also have like building plans or layout plans, which are also a type of maps.
Sometimes you get floor plans,
Floor plans,
architectural
that's
layouts.
right, that's
so
right, layouts, yes, you have building square, so basically you can use the shapes, colors, all those things, etc.
Now, recently, a lot of students are getting images, pictures,
Images, yes,
photographs.
that's also true, that is true. Photographs are also common in the test. You can get colored images, colored photographs,
Yeah.
which I've got many times in my actual tests. You can also get black and white pictures, which is again common. I've got few of those in my test as well. And you can also sometimes, get something like a sketch or something like that.
Some random pictures.
Random, just out of the blue. You don't expect
like
something.
One of our students, he gave the exam and he just told me that he got a picture of 3 trees.
Trees. I
And
was
he
just
said,
coming
like,
to
what
the,
should I have said, man? It's just plain
I
simple
was
3
just coming to
trees.
the same image. So there's a picture or image of a tree trunk or a tree bark.
Yeah,
and there
that's
are
a very
overlapping
common one,
circles.
yeah.
Yes, it's brown colored image.
Yeah.
Very random static image. You don't know what to speak, but you'll have to speak for roughly 25-30 seconds. Otherwise, you lose points and
Yeah,
content.
and as you previously said that you don't have to get into the technicalities of the
Yes.
image.
Yes.
Rather, just speak whatever you can see.
Yes. So I just have a small caption for that. Say what you see.
That's right.
That's what you said. Basically, say what you see. Don't use your brain. It sounds funny, but actually, if you use your brain, you need to think. And if you think, you can't speak fluently. That's the main problem with the task. And yes, the next type of images, as we said, are real pictures as well.
Yeah.
And there is one more category, but it's generally very rare. Hardly anyone gets it, actually. So basically, they are not pictures, they are quotes, random
Yeah.
quotations.
Quotations,
Very
yeah.
rare, rarest of the rare, I can say. But yes, it can come in the test. So broadly
That's right.
speaking, these 6 or 7
But
types
the
of
most
images.
common ones are bar graphs,
Graphs, yes,
line
graphs,
graphs,
yes.
pie charts. I think that those are the ones which we
Yes,
see
70
very
to
often.
80%,
Yeah.
yes. And also, yes, I would like to add that we can also get combination of multiple images
That's right.
in a single image. So that also sometimes, takes people by surprise because people don't expect multiple images on the screen at the
That's
same
right.
time.
But you should not be surprised.
Yes.
It's a good thing.
Yeah,
I
it's
think,
a good
because,
thing,
because
yes.
you have a lot of data to talk on.
Exactly, that's right. I tell the same thing to my students as well. That the more data you have, the
better
easier
it
it
is,
becomes
yeah.
because you just can read what is there on the screen, so at least you're fluent.
Yeah. I always tell my students, if you get a combination of 2 pictures,
Yes.
and we all know you won't be able to explain
Everything,
about
yes.
both, at least acknowledge that you
Yes.
have seen
Yes.
both of the
That's
images,
right, that's
and
right.
then you can start explaining about the one.
That's right. I agreed. I couldn't have agreed more with you. Tanu, we have a question from a very loyal follower. His name is Jagroshan. Jagroshan, thank you for joining the video. Jagroshan has posted 2 questions, friends. First is, how long do you suggest to speak? So as we said, Jagroshan, minimum would be 25 seconds because the instruction itself says that in 25 seconds, please speak into the microphone and describe in detail what you see in the graph or what the graph is showing, which means that minimum you will have to speak for 25 seconds, otherwise you are at a risk of losing few content points. And maximum, as we said, is obviously, that, it's 40 seconds. So
yeah.
between 25 to 40, any length is a good duration. So
Yeah.
roughly around 30-35 would be the best we recommend.
That's right. And as far as you're fluent, you can talk for 40 seconds.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong in talking 40 seconds, but the problem is that it's very difficult to speak for exactly 40 seconds.
That's
There's a
right.
risk that you will talk less or you'll talk more, and obviously the riskier of the two is that you talk more because the time is up and still you're talking. So
You're
obviously,
wasting your time. Basically.
yes, you're wasting time because the timer doesn't stop
Yeah.
ticking, right? The clock just keeps on ticking. So that's the first question. The second question which you asked is that, just a second, yes. Evidence shows that there is no point of highlighting the highest and lowest point while describing the image, because if you do that, it will affect your fluency. So just put the words displayed on the image into your pre-constructed sentences and keep beating around the bush to maintain your fluency with right pronunciation. It will result in achieving good score on the expense of contents. Is that right? So this is the question which you asked. So Jagroshan, part of it is right, that basically there are three main components which affect the score in speaking. First is
Fluency.
oral fluency,
Yeah.
yes, fluency. Second is pronunciation, and third is content.
Yeah.
So roughly it is, not exactly, but roughly it's 5 sub-points for fluency, 5 sub-points for pronunciation, that is 10 if you combine both of them, and 5 for content.
That's right, yeah.
So if you take care of fluency and content as you've written in the post, so at least 10 points you're taking care of. And content, yes, one of the ways is that just as we said, and just exactly what you're saying,
Yeah.
that just
Beating around the bush will
beating
do the
around
job.
bush, it will do the job. Yes, in one sentence it will do the job. But the point which I don't agree with, which you've written, is that evidence shows that there is no point of highlighting the highest and the lowest. No, that is not true. I mean, I don't know of such evidence, but if you've seen it, I don't know, I'm not aware of. But of course, if you cover the highest and the lowest points immediately after the introduction, then obviously one headache gone, and
Yeah.
at least few points you have covered from the content.
Yeah, so you remember that, you identify the image type,
Yeah.
you introduce the topic, you talk about X and Y, you pick the highest and
Right.
the lowest, and you'll be up with your 30-second mark.
So maybe if you can just include that in your structure as well. The
Yeah.
highest is this, lowest is this.
So if you've got a template with
Yes.
you can always, just add that highest and lowest thing.
That's right.
So it makes your job easy.
That's right. So I hope we have answered your question. But yes, more or less, if you focus on the fluency with the pronunciation, most of the job gets done. But see, content is not that important, but yes, it is important.
Yeah,
You cannot
it is
neglect the
important,
content.
That's right.
Because
It is the last part you'll be judged,
Yes.
but then it is
It
important.
is a part, exactly.
Yeah.
It is a part of the part
Now,
of the
if
whole.
you
Yes.
see a colorful graph, you cannot speak about colors. Of course, you have to talk about the graph,
Yes.
the colors which are representing something in the graph. But you cannot say, red is my favorite color, I've got a red car. So, content does matter to some extent.
But yes, but for example, if you have extra time, then obviously you'll have to say something about you might have to add something about the colors as well. But that is
Yeah.
later, as she
Yeah,
said.
that is,
later.
extreme scenario.
Yes, if you need, then you use it. Otherwise, you
Yeah.
don't need to touch it. Yes. Also, I would like to ask, sometimes people have a question, Tanu, that we are not able to think very quickly, because of the pressure of the test. Actually, those 25 seconds feel like just 5 or 10 seconds. They just zip away in front of you. So if you're not able to think quickly, so what do you say? As a preparation for the test, how should one prepare mentally, so that they keep on speaking fluently?
Yeah, thanks for the question. I would like to say that, if you are stuck somewhere, you should
Yeah.
always have some emergency lines,
Yes.
emergency sentences ready with you. That's why the templates really help you.
Yes.
So if before your exam, you can prepare a template with all those things which I mentioned before, that, you have to talk about the image, type of the image, you
Right.
introduce the topic, you talk about X and Y. If it's a pie chart, you talk about slices. If it's a flow chart, you talk about the stages. If it's a life cycle, you again talk about the stages.
Right.
And you have that template ready with you, and you have those emergency sentences that if you're stuck, if you're blank during your exam, you're good to go with those.
Right.
Okay, you can always use those emergency sentences. Like when I was preparing for my exam, I used to always think, oh my God, if I'm stuck.
Mhm.
And I was actually stuck in one of the images.
All right.
And all I did was I had this fixed sentence that
Yeah.
overall to conclude, I
Yes,
would
something
say,
like that.
that the image is very interesting and
Yes.
informative,
Yes.
as it provided me good information about
Right.
something. So, you can always have these sentences handy,
Right.
ready. You can
Right.
memorize them,
Right.
and they will definitely help you while doing this task.
Correct.
If you are stuck.
Yes, if you're stuck, obviously. And yes, as she said, if you have certain sentences ready with you, then definitely you can just keep on speaking. Because the problem is with the software that if you are stuck, that is, if you do I saw a beautiful picture in my, if you describe something like, I can see a beautiful image in front of me, I can say that, so if such things happen, stuttering or stammering, then obviously fluency is affected immediately.
That's
And
right.
that just kills the score of speaking immediately.
And fluency is the most important
Yes.
part of your speaking. You have to know that, guys. It is very, very important.
That's true.
Especially in describe image, your fluency matters the most.
That's true. That's
So
true.
if you're good with your fluency, if you're good with your pronunciation, if you're good with your content, there's nothing that can stop you to get a perfect
That's
score
true.
of 90.
And yes, that's true. I totally agree with you, Tanu. And I think mostly it has to do with a lot of confidence at that time which you have. it's more about confidence than about English. That is why I tell most of my students as well. It's
whatever's coming to your mind, just speak.
Just
speak
say
about
it,
the image. That's all you need to do.
Yes, because however good you are with your English, if you don't say it at that time,
that's right.
It's not going to help you, unfortunately. All right. Also, like sometimes people do have a question that is a type of vocabulary important or relevant to the graph, or should we use some vocabulary? For example, if you have a line chart or line graph, should we use vocabulary which is relevant to it?
I generally, tell them you can use whatever comes to your mind,
right.
because the more prepared you are, I think you tend to get more confused.
Yes.
So, I always give my students list of few words, which they can memorize, or which they can start to practice to use in few of the graphs, like very common words like dramatic, fluctuating, significant, words like such. So these are very common words, but we when we are giving the exam, we tend to get confused.
Conscious,
So you can always give these words a read. And you can always use them. If you know how to use them, you should. But if you think that you will be struggling about how to use them, don't use them.
Right, that's true. And friends, with that, I also remember that on ptetutorials.com, which is a flagship product, flagship website, we have a task or a segment which we are selling, which is about describe images. It's a very comprehensive review. It has covered all the image types with templates and with standard answers with the vocabulary words as well. So you can just have a look. We are selling it just for $9. So if you're interested, do have a look over there. It will help you greatly and tremendously for describe image.
I've got one question with Markin.
Yes.
Do you recommend that you should describe everything in the image?
Now again, very good question. So many times people ask this, that should we describe everything in the image? So my response is the same which PT has in its guideline, that ideally, highly recommended. You should try to. Because even PT knows that it's impossible to cover maybe everything in the image. But the simple thing is that the more content you try to cover in your image, for example, if I see this as the image, if, for example, if this is the image, so I can see a bar graph over here, I can see 4 pictures over here, there are 4 people over here, faces, yellow clothes, yellow helmet, there are flow charts, there is let's say there's a table sort of showing indicative marks, there are different colors. So the more words I cover, or the more data points I call them, the more data points you cover, the more chance you have that the score of
like in the combination graphs, like when we get a combination of a bar or pie, we have a lot of things to talk about.
That's right.
So that's a good point.
Yes, and continuing on that train of thought, people also ask that, is it necessary that we conclude the image? Is it necessary?
That's a very common question.
Yes,
especially because a few people who've given IELTS, they always tend to ask me this question. We need to give a conclusion.
That's true, because this task is actually very similar to task 1 in IELTS academic writing, which is called report writing or graph writing. So you start with an introduction, 1 paragraph, maybe 1 paragraph or 2 paragraphs of the body, and finally the conclusion. So again, this is a software, PT is a software, it doesn't care much about the conclusion, honestly. But still, if you use words like in conclusion or to conclude, you're giving it a hint that you have understood the entire image, and so yes, you're giving a comprehensive overview of the image. So
and it is not necessary that you need to finish the conclusion.
That's true.
Even if like I said, that I've got that emergency sentence with me. To conclude, I would say, even if you're saying this and you're halfway through and the time is up, doesn't matter, that the software will understand that you have the conclusion, but just because of the time frame, you're not able to finish it off.
That's right. One more question, like, as we said that we can finish before 40 seconds, definitely we can. So what should we do after we finish? Should we wait for the timer to tick?
No, definitely not.
Definitely not.
It's, you have to keep in mind that for any question in speaking, you should not wait for timer to get up.
Right.
Okay, so you should always click next the moment,
immediately,
the moment you finish speaking.
That's right, because
sometimes during speaking as well.
Yes. Because if you don't click next, and as she correctly said, the overall timer which is there at the right top, it just keeps on ticking. And as we mentioned in our last live session as well, whenever you click next, immediately there's one more icon on the screen that are you sure you want to go to the next question? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? So don't waste time, just be quick, because the timer doesn't stop. So twice, next, yes, next, yes, next, yes, in quick succession, just keep on doing it.
And if you're quiet for more than 3 seconds, the microphone's gonna stop automatically. So you have to keep all those things in mind.
That's true. So you just need to keep on speaking. Well, thank you for thanking us, Jagaroshan. We are so thankful to you. Every time you have different types of questions for all different question types, we are really thankful for your questions. Thank you. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Tanu, to this?
Yeah, I would like to tell all our friends that we will be having a master class on this Saturday.
Definitely.
Before we forget to talk about it.
Definitely.
So friends, you're more than welcome to come and join for our master class, which is happening on this Saturday. It starts at 10:30 and it will give you all those hints and strategies and tips that you require to achieve a perfect score of 90.
That's right, friends. Again, I'll repeat that just in the month of January, that is in 4 days, we have got 5 scores of 90. And if you think, and if you're thinking what I'm thinking, that is there any institute in Australia which has got 5 scores of 90 in 4 days, your guess is maybe as good as mine. You can just research it for yourself. I don't want to comment about it. As she said, this Saturday we are having the master class. It's at our Melbourne CBD premises. It will start at 10:30. It will start at 11, but it's recommended that you reach here by 10:30. It will go till 5:30. If you have not registered for it, you can just go to our website ptetutorials.com. Over there you will see the coaching tab. Within coaching you will see that the Melbourne master class is already mentioned. You just need to click there, fill in your details. It just takes around 1 minute, that's it. And you need to pay $129. If you attend the master class, you'll also get access to 2 practice tests and a lot of material. Believe me, when I say a lot, I mean a lot of material, which will get you your score of 90 each, or whatever score you're looking for. If you follow what we deliver in the master class, we are very sure that you will get your required score. And friends, and Tanu,
we've got a very exciting news to share.
That's true. You've got an excellent news to share with all of your dear viewers, that is you all. There has been a lot of inquiry for the PTE Masterclass since the time we have started it. And the good thing is that people even outside Melbourne want to be a part of this class, they want to attend it, but obviously it's difficult for them to fly in here. So what we are starting is an innovative thing, a new program. So what we'll be doing is that we will be flying to new places now onwards in 2018. Yes, that is our goal. We want to make people more aware about how easy it is to get a 90 in PT. Believe us, we mean it when we say it is easy to get 90, and that is what we have proven in 2017, that we have got most of the students. I believe we are the #1 institute when it comes to actual 90s, and whenever we get the scores of 90s, we post it so that you know, and we don't bluff, obviously we don't make up the numbers. Many times people ask us that how do you guys get so many 90s? Simple answer that obviously when it comes to PT, we have done a lot of research. We know exactly how the software works and what you need to do to get that 90. Many times people take classes of 1 year, 1.5 years. It's so surprising that you just keep on taking classes after classes after classes. You're getting the same score after the same scores, the same scores.
And we have students who have scored 44, 50, and they've scored 90 now.
Yes, I would just like to share, obviously have the permission, just yesterday, or actually today, we have shared a score of one of my excellent students. Her name is Sarah. She's from Mauritius, beautiful country. Well, in her last attempt, she had a score of 44 in speaking and in 60s in the remaining 3 modules. She had a test last week, I reckon, but she got her result just yesterday. She's got 19 speaking, she's got 19 reading, she's got 19 writing and 84 in listening, and an overall score of 90. So speaking 44, yeah. Speaking 90. Now believe us guys, it is very easy to get 90 in speaking, but not that easy to touch 90 in listening, writing and reading, right? So don't be surprised if you see 90s, more 90s coming in the future as well.
They will be coming.
They will be coming. We are trying our best because our only motive or motto is that the student who enrolls with Aussie's group has to get 4 90s, because there's only one number which is 90. And so the next schedule is that in the month of January, that is, the date is 27th of January, we will be going live with the masterclass in Adelaide. So if you're in Adelaide right now, be prepared for it. You can
and our Sydney students, don't be disappointed.
Yes. Definitely not, definitely not. I was coming to Sydney as well. On 10th of February, we have a masterclass in Sydney as well. And I believe that class will be in Parramatta. That is our new office. I think that's our 8th or 9th branch of Aussies. So congratulations, Weber, if you're viewing this video. Many congratulations on the new branch. We are coming live in Parramatta, Sydney on the 10th of February. And 27th of January, We'll be having the live masterclass in Adelaide. I will be coming personally over there. I'll be taking the classes at both the places. And if you've not already enrolled, if you're in Sydney or in Adelaide, because I know there are a couple of people, many people I would rather say, who are waiting for the masterclass, just go to ptetutorials.com. You will see under coaching, you'll see the masterclass, and you'll see a separate tab for Sydney and Adelaide as well. You just need to click over there. You need to log in your details and make the payment of $129. That's it. We're going to charge the same amount whether we are coming over here or we are delivering the lecture over there. So it's going to be the same thing. Yes, I think we are done with today's master class.
And friends, don't forget that whenever PTE comes to your mind, you have to think Aussies.
Definitely. PTE Tutorials is there to guide you. And friends, I'd also like to share that one of the 5 students who has got a perfect 90, his name is Atikur. I believe he's from Bangladesh. Believe me or not, he has sent us a congratulations message. He has sent to us. He's sharing his happy news with us. That Aussies group, I'm really thankful to all of you. I purchased 2 unscored tests, 2 scored tests, and an overall package of just $25 from ptetutorials.com. After that, he sat for the actual test, and believe it or not, he got a 90 each. Not even 90 overall, he's got 90 each. And that is the second student from Bangladesh after Ehtesham. Ehtesham, just last month he took the test, and even he got 90 each. He was from Bangladesh as well. Even he went for the same overall package from ptetutorials.com, and he just blew the test and he got 90 each.
They have excellent questions, guys. So if you're struggling anywhere, that's the thing you should go to.
Definitely.
It's an overall package
that
right. Includes pretty much everything you need to know about the exam.
It's a one-stop solution. Whatever you need, it's an excellent module there. We are prepared. We are poured in our hearts over there.
It's a good platform to practice.
Definitely. And there's a lot of free material. There's a lot of paid material. I said we have material for describe image. We have material for essay writing, that is write essay. And we have material for summary writing, which is called summarize written text. And very soon we'll be adding much more valuable content over there, which will be live in the next week or 2 for sure. Well, Tanu, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Malcolm. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you. And before we wind up today's session, I'd also like to share that next week we'll be coming up with a live session for a retell lecture, which is the 4th task in speaking module. It starts immediately after describe image. Now, friends, describe image is a pure speaking task, but retell lecture, as the name itself suggests, is an integrated task of listening the lecture first and then retelling the lecture in 40 seconds, just like describe image.
Yeah.
So, again,
so marks will be going towards again listening and speaking. So the scores will be affected.
Definitely. Please go carry on. Sorry.
No, so the marks will be going towards listening and towards speaking as well. So if you're struggling with retell lecture, you've got to say yes next week.
Definitely. So friends, we'll see you next Thursday for the live series, PTE Live Interactive Series. Till then, have a good time and all the best to all the aspirants who have their tests lined up in this week.
And wish you guys a very happy New Year once
again.
Happy
New Year. And if you're looking for the masterclass, again I'll repeat, is this Saturday. So if you've not booked it, please book it soon. Thank you. Have a great time. Thank you for viewing the video, friends. Thank you.
Thank you.